Today I'm cooking Epstein ribs in the Hasty Bake Roughneck. Come along, I'll show you how to do it. I'll be using the Hasty Bake Roughneck fueled by Papa's Premium Lump Charcoal. I'll be using pecan and cherry wood chunks for smoke flavor, and I will be using this little thing, a fire cups, to get this cook going. The setup is pretty easy. We're going to put about 1.5 bags of lump charcoal in this large Hasty Bake Roughneck fire basket. We're going to interdisperse pecan and cherry wood chunks in the charcoal and light it up and get her warm. So as you can see, this fire basket is full. It has 17 pounds of lump charcoal in it, which is way in excess of what's going to be needed for our Epstein ribs. This would be something you do for a long 18 to 20 hour cook. Brisket, pork butts, low and slow. But that's the size of the Roughneck fire basket. We're going to run with this today, and as you see, I got my pecan and cherry wood chunks all over the charcoal. We're going to light it up. So the Roughneck has been lit. Vents are wide open on the bottom and on the exhaust, and as you can see, the lid's wide open. I'm going to leave the lid open until I see a fistful of lit charcoal, and then I'll close the lid down. We're going to let the pit come up to temperature. Really easy to run. This is as close to a set it and forget it manual smoker as I've ever seen, and you just can't beat the Roughneck for what it does. This is the rib rack, which you can run on half of the grill and then run 2 level of grates on the other half if you'd like. Very versatile grill. I've had 9-10 racks of ribs, but literally I think you could probably do 12 per side, and I think you'd be just fine. So inside we go. Here's the lineup for the ribs. First layer is going to be DB180 all-purpose, followed by Your Behind Barbecue hot honey garlic rub. Then we're going on with a generous layer of perfect pork and a layer of sweet, and that is going to give the ribs an amazing color, amazing flavor. Traditionally, when you're cooking ribs, especially for competition, you would trim these up, get rid of this loose dangly parts. This last rib here is useless. These are baby back ribs, not St. Louis or spare ribs. Since we're hanging these ribs, I'm not too concerned about this or this. It can be trimmed off after the cook, and it can act as a little bit of insulation from the heat at the bottom as these ribs hang in the Roughneck smoker. I will remove the membranes and then begin seasoning. Issue is I'm filming and working, so if you've seen other films, just remember, use a clean paper towel, scratch and find the membrane, and then pull it up. Now it's going to take me 2 hands to do that, so I'll bring you back when I'm done. First layer, DB180 AP, just a light layer. Followed by Your Behind Barbecue hot honey garlic.
Another light coat, packs a great flavor.
Next layer, DB180 perfect pork.
This is the bulk of the flavor profile today.
And you'll notice I did not use a binder. It's not required, not necessary. I'll just press the rubs in when I'm done. And finally, DB180 sweet, just a little bit.
Cooking these for a friend who likes sweet food, so we're going to give it to him. All right, again, pat it in, do not rub, and we're going to flip them over and repeat.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, our charcoal is lit. We're going to close the lid down and start working our temperature up on our pit. Through the power of magic, we now have 4 racks of ribs. Forgot, we have to eat too. So I put the rubs on. I want about 45 minutes exposure time. And this is what I'm looking for. You see how it's starting to pull the moisture out? The salts in the rubs. So I'm looking at that about 45 minutes, typically no more than an hour, and these are ready to hang. So with the smoker comes these S hooks for hanging. So the pro tip here is make sure you hang from the thick bones on the rib, and if possible, go to the second bone and hook it. Don't hook just by the last bone. Sometimes that's a half bone, and you'll end up with your ribs in the fire pit. So go 2 bones down, hook the rib, make sure you're on the thick bones, not the thin bone side. And we're gonna take them out to the Roughneck, put them in. I think it's running about 250. Coming up, I'd like to cook about 275. So that's where I'm at, and that's what we're gonna do. Pit's running at 250 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and load the ribs up. I'm less concerned about the pit temperature. I'm gonna be watching the meat, and we're gonna cook for color, and then we're gonna give them the business. Plenty of clearance between the ribs and the diverter. You can also cook without the diverter. I'm just going to take it with the diverter today and roll with it. Ooh, looking pretty. Oh yeah. Okay, we're going to let them keep going. Just wanted to get a peek. All good. We're setting up to wrap the ribs, and here's where what we are putting in the pouches: light brown sugar, butter, bacon grease, DB180 sweet, some Coca-Cola, Blues Hog original, and DB180 original barbecue sauce. We're going to make them happy. Here's a pro tip for you. Make sure you buy a 13mm open box-in combo wrench. Not 12, not 14, 13mm. And I'll show you how to use it in just couple pats of butter, some bacon up, and lay down some brown sugar, DB180 sweet, a little Coke, drizzle of original barbecue DB180. We're just going to do a small little line like that. Same thing with Blues Hog. Just like that. And at this point, I'm going to grab the ribs. Going meat down. Pulling out our hook. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the top, and then we're going to wrap up the ribs, put them back in the smoker.
You need to make sure you don't wrap too tight and let these pokey corners tear your foil. So we're going to leave them a little bit loose. We're going to use 2 layers of aluminum foil. Keeping it loose. At this point, I'm going to fold it up, put a little more liquid in, and make our final fold. And back in the smoker they'll go.
The ribs went on at about 120 this afternoon, and temperatures fluctuated between 225, 250. I have bumped it up to 300, and it's just running nice and steady. We're going to take one of the racks out and temp it to see if we are done and get a good feel for it. Lincoln log style. Allows airflow and heat to come up around them, so nice day in California. Honestly, they could go a little bit more. We could leave them for a little bit longer, but I'm going to hold them wrapped up, and I think that'll carry us to where we need to be. So we're going to take them inside. If you recall, I put 16 pounds of lump charcoal in, and I'll just show you what is remaining. So we have hours and hours of heat left in this. We could have done a nice long cook. And anyway, just wanted to show you the efficiency of the Hasty Bake Roughneck. Crack test, lift it and bounce it. That's a pretty rack of ribs. We're going to slice some up and give it a try. And this is what it all comes down to. Here we go. It's incredibly hot. It's also incredibly good. All right, Steve, part-time barbecue, Epstein ribs, or if you haven't figured it out, hanging ribs in a Roughneck Hasty Bake smoker. That's the process. Try it out. Give it a go. Thanks.